Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In the previous video, I discussed tourism area life cycle as a linear life cycle. Now I want to illustrate a different idea that has recently surfaced. This idea is known as the circular economy.
The notion of a circular economy has been gaining widespread attention in recent years. Circular economy initiatives are increasingly being pursued actively by companies, non-government organizations or NGOs in a diverse range of public and private stakeholders worldwide. A circular economy can be defined as a purposefully designed, socio-economic system inspired by natural systems, regenerative of human and natural capital that works long-term for all stakeholders. In a circular economy, the notion of waste has been eliminated, and inefficiencies of the current take-make-waste linear economy are turned into business value by keeping materials, resources, and products in use for as long as possible. Natural capital is regenerated by stopping leakages of waste and pollutants into natural systems, minimizing the need for virgin resources, and by returning valuable organic nutrients back to nature as fertilizers for new growth. Similarly, a circular economy can be seen to restore human and social capital through the creation of meaningful jobs and through more equal and fair distribution of resources and financial capital. As such, adopting circular economy practices can be seen as a necessary prerequisite for sustainable development for reaching the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs and ultimately a fully sustainable society, where an equitable and prosperous socio-economic system can be sustained within the planet's carrying capacity, for present and future generations. The circular economy approach offers an essential toolbox to implement, measure, adjust and deliver sustainable production and consumption patterns and to drive innovation and competitiveness at the same time. The most publicized illustration of the circular economy framework is the butterfly diagram published in 2012 through pioneering work of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. It describes resource flows in an economic system driven by energy from the sun as a renewable one, where linear product and material flows are replaced by circular flows in two separate cycles, a biological cycle and a technical cycle, and where value is generated through circular business models. Traditionally, the boundaries of value creation in a business context have been limited to financial value and the transactions taking place between a supplier and customer. In example, a company generates value for a customer in the form of a product and/or service, which is exchanged for money with the primary aim to generate profits. In line with circular economy's regenerative goal, the notion of value creation in a circular economy has a broader connotation and stakeholder base, implying that doing business should contribute to positive outcomes in a broader perspective. For the planet, by regenerating natural capital and avoiding all forms of waste. For people such as satisfied employees, healthy local communities, equality, and for businesses through competitiveness and profits that eventually get fairly distributed and contribute to overall social well-being, or also known as planet, people, profit, or 3P principles. In more practical business terms, a circular economy approach is about turning linear value chain inefficiencies into business value. Where such linear inefficiencies may include unsustainable materials that cannot be regenerated, circulated. Underutilized capacities, that is products or assets not fully functional or not operating at full capacity. Premature product lives, products not used at full potential for a full working life, that is due to designed obsolescence, or lack of maintenance and repair. Wasted end-of-life value, valuable products, components, materials or energy not recovered at end of life. Unexploited customer engagement, missed opportunities to engage customers throughout product or service lifecycle, that is through selling functionality instead of products. These linear inefficiencies can be transformed into business value through circular business models. Where key circular economy business model categories include 1. Circular supply chains. Source materials that are fit for a circular economy, pure, non-toxic, tolerating long and multiple life cycle with low value depreciation. 2. Recovery and recycling. Recovering embedded energy and resources from waste streams or byproducts. 3. Product life extension, that is through repair, maintenance, upgrades, resale or remanufacturing. 4. Sharing platforms, collaborative models to increase material and product utilization ratios and asset recirculation. 5. Product as a service, PSS, offering access over ownership, selling product functionality without change of product ownership. What all these circular economy business model types have in common is the potential to help drive significantly higher resource productivity than alternative linear concepts. In example, a significant decoupling of resource use from economic value creation and a positive contribution to the regeneration of natural, by eliminating waste and negative ecosystem impacts, and human capital, through that is innovation, learning and meaningful jobs. In turn, the business value of higher resource productivity can be captured across value chains in the form of cost reductions, reduced risks, new product, service innovations and new revenue streams. For businesses to harness the value of circularity, it is important to consider the concepts of value creation, value capture and value distribution. While the general circular economy discourse so far has focused on resources, material flows and regeneration of natural capital, there is an underlying acknowledgement that this transition must also lead to more prosperous and equitable societies. This is highly relevant in a tourism industry context, which is largely centered on communities, people and their experiences and interactions. The circular economy refers to the economy as a whole. Accordingly, it would not be sustainable to design an economy regenerative of biological and technological stocks, if this would not simultaneously strengthen human and social capital. In a circular economy, social capital represents the resources embedded in the relationships between individuals expressed through non-monetary exchanges. Social capital within a circular economy can be described as the degree to which citizens interact with each other on the basis of pleasure, duty, compassion, cultural and religious beliefs outside of monetary transactions. Building social capital refers to nurturing flourishing and resilient, equitable, inclusive communities, with good education and jobs, health and well-being, reduced inequality, democracy, inclusion and social justice. For instance, an example from one of the tourism sector's indirect value chains, the textiles industry, sets out how the Scottish Government have established a £17 million fund to catalyse innovative approaches for the circular economy which support closed-loop systems. An important approach to support this agenda is through applying participatory design approaches and workshops which facilitate diverse groups of people in circular conversations around environmental and social cultural issues. Such inclusive platforms strengthen communication, promote creative action and embed collaborative ways of working. Processes which are necessary to support ethical, responsible and sustainable material futures. Another good illustration of how a circular economy could regenerate and maintain optimal conditions for social capital is through labor taxation shift. A well-researched fiscal strategy, the fiscal switch, reverses the intensity of taxation from labor to resources. Shifting taxation from labor, sustainable resource, to materials, non-sustainable resource, would increase employment, raise wages and living standards, especially for non-graduate, low-skilled labor forces, and provide adequate funding to finance and support key components of social capital such as education, knowledge, that is affordable and equal access to higher education, lifetime training access, health, that is resilient, affordable and high-quality public health services, culture, that is public funding guarantees, equal representation of minority groups, meaningful jobs with above basic living standard wages, universal basic income schemes, voluntary work, that is NGO, civil duties, household duties, equality, that is equal pay, gender equality. If we want to summarize as the social dimension of the circular economy, it articulates how the biological and technical resource loops interact with human development objectives defined as the human sphere. It articulates how regenerative production and consumption loops facilitate equitable societies operating inside the Earth's ecosystem boundaries. The tourism industry creates a local multiplier effect through flow of capital in multiple value chains and sectors, and can in that way positively contribute to developing human capabilities to achieve fair and inclusive societies, translating into attractive places to work, live and to visit. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, comprising of 17 goals and 169 targets, have been described as the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. The SDGs are increasingly being adopted by both public and private sector actors as a framework for organizing and pursuing sustainability initiatives. There is growing recognition that employing circular economy practices is fundamental for achieving many of the SDGs. A study in the Journal of Industrial Ecology highlights this relationship, and finds that circular economy practices can be applied as a toolbox for achieving a sizable number of SDG targets. For example, the study finds strong and direct benefits from circular economy practices related to clean water and sanitation, fall onto SDG number 6, affordable and clean energy, SDG number 7, decent work and economic growth, which fall onto SDG number 8, sustainable consumption and production, SDG number 12, and life on land, SDG number 15, and positive indirect relationship to reducing poverty, SDG number 1, hunger, SDG number 2, help achieve sustainable cities and communities, SDG number 11, and for protecting life below water, which fall onto SDG number 14. The above-mentioned relationship illustrates the importance of the circular economy transition for sustainable development and shows that adoption of circular economy practices will be necessary to achieve many targets outlined under the SDGs.
That's my explanation about the circular economy at a glance. In the next video, I will continue this explanation by further sharpening how circular economy value creation is applied in a conceptual framework for travel and tourism. Thank you for watching this video, stay healthy, and see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Leisure, Tourism, and Education channel.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.